Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Ms. Rahayu. Today, our Group 10, is going to present two important grammar skills that can help you write and speak more effectively in English. These are Skill 9, using reduced adjective clauses correctly, and Skill 10, using reduced adverb clauses correctly. These skills are useful when we want to make our sentence shorter and more natural, especially in writing. In this presentation, we will explain what reduced clauses are, when and how to use them, and we will also give you some clear example. But before that, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Gigi Sophia Saum, and my friends.
My name is Anggun Rahayu.
Okay, let's begin the presentation. So guys, what is sentence with a reduced clause and what is a reduced clause? A sentence with a reduced clause is a sentence where a dependent clause, adjective, or adverb clause has been shortened, usually by removing the subject and the verb be to make the sentence more concise. And reduced clauses are shortener form of adjective clauses or adverb clauses. They keep the original meaning but use fewer words to make sentence clearly and more concise. Okay, now let's get into the first material, which is skill 9, reduced adjective clauses, which will be explained by my friend Anggun. Anggun, time is yours.
So thank you, Gigi. So I will explain about sentences reduce adjective clauses. So what is an adjective clause? So an adjective clause is a dependent clause that describes a noun. These clauses often begin with relative pronouns like who, which, that, whom, or whose. For example, in the sentence, the man who is talking to the teacher is my uncle. The clause who is talking to the teacher describes the noun man. And then, what is a reduced adjective clause? A reduced adjective clause shortens the full clause into a phrase, but keeps the meaning the same. For example, the sentence, the students who are sitting in the front row are very attentive, can be reduced to the students sitting in the front row are very attentive. Now, when can we reduce an adjective clause? There are four main rules. The first is it must modify a noun. The second is it must begin with who, which, or that. The third is it must include a be verb or a verb in the continuous form. And the last is it must be non-essential or non-restrictive in formal writing. The next is how to reduce an active voice. When the clause is in active voice, the structure is noun plus who or that or which plus is or are plus verb ing. We reduce it to noun plus verb ing. And for example, the woman who is singing is my aunt becomes the woman singing is my aunt. The next is how to reduce a passive voice. If the clause is in passive voice, the structure is noun plus who or that or which plus is or are plus past participle. We reduce it to noun plus past participle. For example, the book that is written by J.K. Rowling is famous becomes the book written by J.K. Rowling is famous. That's all from my explanation. The next material will be explained by my friend Gigi.
Well, now let's continue to the next material, which is skill 10, reduced adverb clause. So guys, what is an adverb clause? An adverb clause is a dependent clause that functions as an adverb. It modifies the verb in the main clause by providing information about time, reason, condition, contrast, or purpose. These clauses typically begin with subordinating conjunctions such as because, although, if, when, while, since, and after. For example, in the sentence, because she was tired, she went home early. The clause because she was tired explains the reason why the subject went home. The purpose of reducing adverb clauses help to make sentence more concise, elegant, and formal, especially in academic writing. The reduction also allows writers and speakers to avoid repetitive structures and to improve the flow of language. However, reduction should only be done when the meaning of the sentence remains clear and grammatically correct. So now let's move to requirements for reduction. To correctly reduce an adverb clause, three main conditions must be met. The first one is the subject of the adverb clause and the main clause must be the same. If the subjects are different, reduction will lead to confusion or grammatical errors. The second one is the clause must be introduced by subordinating conjunction that allows reduction. Common conjunction for reduction include when, while, before, after, since, because, if, and although. And the last is the verb tense and voice must be suitable for reduction. Future tense structure such as will plus verb usually cannot be reduced. Now let's move again to pattern of reduction. There are several patterns used to reduce adverb clauses depending on whether the clause is in the active voice, passive voice, or use a perfect tense. The first one is active voice reduction. When the adverb clause is in the active voice and the verb is in a simple or progressive form, the clause can be reduced by using the present participle. The structure is subordinating conjunction plus verb in, comma, main clause. For example, while she was reading a book, she drank coffee. Become, while reading a book, she drank coffee. The subject she is in the same in both clauses. She was reading, become reading. The subordinating conjunction while is kept. This reduction helps make the sentence shorter and smoother. The second one is passive voice reduction. When the adverb clause is in the passive voice, the clause can be reduced by using the past participle, usually after the subordinator. The structure is subordinating conjunction plus past participle, comma, main clause. For example, although he was injured, he finished the race. Become although injured, he finished the race. He was injured is passive. The verb was injured is reduced to the past participle. Become injured. The meaning stay the same, but the sentence become more concise. The third one is using being plus adjective or noun. Used when the adverb clause contains be plus adjective or noun. The structure is being plus adjective or noun, comma, main clause. For example, because she was tired, she went to bed early. Become being tired, she went to bed early. The clause was tired is be plus adjective. Can be reduced to being tired. The subject she is the same. The word because can be removed if the sentence remains clear. So the sentence will be being tired, she went to bed early. And the last one is perfect tense reduction. If the action in the adverb clause happened before the main clause, use having plus past participle. This is usually for showing sequence clearly. The structure is having plus verb 3, comma, main clause. For example, after he had finished the exam, he left the room. Become having finished the exam, he left the room. Had finished, so an action complete before another. We use having plus past participle to indicate this. So, and the subject remains the same. So guys, reduce adverb clauses help make writing clearly and more effective. Especially in academic English, they remove unnecessary words and make sentence sounds more advanced. But be careful, make sure the subject is the same, the verb fits, and the meaning stay clear. This skill is useful for tests like TOEFL. So that's all about our material. Thank you for your kind attention.